Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this label or logo, and I misunderstood. I thought they were going to engrave, well, they're going to engrave it on leather. And my only concern is that the grays and the whites are going to kind of blend in together when you engrave them. Unless, if you're only doing a couple of them, you could do it a couple of different passes. So, and also the colors are in CMYK, and he needs RGB. So I have an RGB color palette. I'm going to see how big this thing is, and it's a little more than 6 inches. So I'm going to set my nudge factor on 7, and I'm going to nudge that out. Now this is a total, well, that's black, but right now we can make that RGB black just by pressing on that. Now this is a total background that's really not needed, but I don't think it's going to change the engraving. And then you could just pick the shade you want of RGB that. This is a white. You're not going to want, that would almost be to do what I did here and have nothing there. So to do that, let me make my yellow box bigger. And let's take this white and completely move it out of the way. Now I'm going to left click, right click in an outline. Now these other parts, they are K25, K25. So these are all the same. Let me see what the shadows are inside the letters. See, they're the same. So what I'm going to do now with that K25 selected, I'm going to go to edit, find and replace, and I'm going to go from selection, invalid object. I get that from time to time. Let's see what's going on. Grab it with my pick tool. Well, you know what? They're already grouped together. So let's just nudge it out of the way. And see, it's a CMYK 25. And then you're just going to pick what other color you think to make it RGB. Now, leather isn't like wood, and this might just kind of all blend it together. Now, the other parts, so we've done the inside of that. We can shift select that one, hold down the shift key, select that one. See, we got that 25. We'll make it that color. And I'm getting pretty close because now that's an RGB. This one here is a CMYK. We'll make it a little bit darker and a little bit darker still maybe. And now it's an RGB. The black is CMYK, so we're going to RGB. Excuse me, I'm just changing the colors. This black, CMYK, we'll make it black by making it RGB. That outline of that, make it black. I think that's probably it. Let me click off. No, that's CMYK, so let's make it RGB black. Now, the only thing, this is the same thing here. You're not going to really want that white. So let's do this. And if this isn't right, you can email me back. But what I'm going to do there, I'm going to left click, right click in an outline. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to left click, right click and have an outline. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move that up to there, and I'm going to have the letters just like there's nothing there. So we're going to take the outline, and I'm using RGB black. You need to, so well, that's all one group. So now we can just group this together or just do this. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to nudge that up. I'm not sure what happened there. There's my outline. I do not want my outline, so I'm going to delete my outline. I'm hoping that's right. And here's all the pre parts. So that's what we want. We're going to make sure everything's RGB, and it is. That looks pretty good. And because we're nudging, so we can put that right back over there and then grab these and put this over there. Of course, the interior letters are going to be gray. Over here, I made everything transparent. So we could do the same thing with that. We could take that item, page down, take that and nudge it up. And see, there's a black behind there. So we're going to nudge it up. And I want to take the gray back and left click, right click. And then I'm going to fill this in with gray. And we'll have to do the same thing basically in a second. So I wanted a less gray, and he's gonna have to play around with this. So now I'm going to take my Smart Fill tool, set on a lesser of a gray than the Paul's are. See, that maybe not even enough. Let's go a little bit less. Whoop. Well, I picked the same color. So that's what you're going to have to deal with. And then that way that won't be there. Now we'll go ahead and take away the white on that. We can't do that. So I'm going to back up. We're going to have to do the same thing on this. And I want to go ahead and take away this outline before I forget it, because I don't want that outline. Well, I must have the gray selected. So I'm going to nudge it up or down, grab my outline and delete it. Grab this black or back and put it back. Now we're going to have to do the same thing on this other wordage. And we want to keep that, but we want to get these letters. So I'm nudging everything down. So I'm going to do the exact same. I don't know what that is. I'm going to do the exact same thing on here. I am going to left click, right click. I don't believe there's any shadow inside the letters on these. I wish I had the original. I should have made a copy. I do not like that double line. So let me move that down. And what I want to do is I want the outline of that. So I'm going to take a rectangle and I'm going to Smart Fill that in, and I'm going to move it over and then Smart Fill that in. And now I have that outline. Left click, left click, no fill, right click outline. And we want the letters basically transparent with a black background around it. Now this is going to cause us a little problem. So what I'm going to do is, now I really should have brought the original in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool, fit on black, and I'm going to fill this in with black. See that? Well, where's my little, I have a little box up here somewhere. Whoop. I don't know what I did with my little section that was right there. I need to have that. What did I do? Let's look at under a wireframe real quick. And I must have somehow deleted it. I'm going to hit F4 on the keyboard and see that brings up everything I've done or everything I'm working on. Go back to enhance. Well, let's just say he's going to have to redo this. Let's just say it's there. So I'm going to fill that in with black. And then I'm going to fill in the outline around the word black and the interior. Now I definitely want to And I don't know if you don't want that part of it in the stick, we could do that separately. Um, let's take this and fill it, non-fill it, and let's nudge it over for a second. I must have made 2 copies. And now let's fill this in with black. Well, I've got a little bit of a, whoop, don't ever do that when you're working with a smart fill tool. See, I've got that part of the hockey stick, I guess, in there. So there's 2 ways I could fix that. One, I am going to grab all this and take away the outline. And I'm just going to fix this, even though it's not really fixable. I'm going to take a 2-point line and go from right there to right there, and then delete with my virtual segment delete key, delete this inner line. And then I can take my smart fill tool and fill that in with black and then put it over there. And see, that way I don't have any, the only thing I'm missing for the one I'm doing it for is that little part right there. Now I'm going to nudge that up to where it goes. Looks pretty good. And now we're just going to start nudging everything back. With the exception of this, we're going to have to go object order back a page. And of course my yellow's on the back, so I'm going to go grab the yellow object order back a page. Oh, that still didn't work. Probably the easiest thing to do now when you have this is I'm going to left click, right click it, and then put it up there, and then I'm going to smart fill. It'll stop wherever I tell it. I mean, I won't let it go there. And I'm going to leave that, take that line away. We're going to grab that line and delete it. Now we need to bring in this gray, and it's already on the back of the page. Then bring this in, and we need to put it in the front of the page. But now let me move that out of the way for a second. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is left click, right click, and move this over, and then just smart fill it with black to get that look. And so I'll still have that gray. Going pretty good so far. Now we're going to take this, which is a new RGB color, but I really meant to have the, oh, I see what it is. I didn't want this. I didn't want that everywhere. So let's do the same thing. Let's left click, right click it, and let's put with a gray, you go right in there. That's it. That's the trick. Now I'm still missing that little part, but see, all my letters are clear. And now we're going to grab this, and because I've nudged, I can nudge it right back over. And there you have it. I'm hoping, okay, why don't I have that black up top? Okay, that must have had a little leak. Let me delete that. Try this again. I didn't notice that when I did it. Let me zoom in. Yep, that worked that time. Anyway, the only problem I see is you're gonna have to test this on your leather. I think he's got yellow leather. We don't need that anymore. I'll send you this file, but you're gonna need that little part that's right there. And we could actually, you know what, we could do it right now. If we've nudged this, no, we didn't nudge it. But let's try this. This is a good trick. Let's group this together, Control G. Let's group this together, Control G. And let's select them both and go EC. That put it right on top of one another, and it worked pretty well. Now we can take this one and nudge it over, and see there's that little block. So I'm going to take this part, and I've got to ungroup it. And I'm going to take this black and left click, right click, and I'm just going to fill this in with black. I love doing this for people, but I really want you to try to do it yourself. Now, the only problem is that that's going to, okay, that needs to be a no fill. And now we can take the Smart Fill tool and fill this in. And there we have it. Now, I would most definitely select everything and right click, no outline. That way it'll be a little better. Now, this right here, you'll have to look at your original. That's showing through. If that's supposed to be black, just take it and fill it with black. That may be the way it's supposed to be. But my only concern is how this is going to look on the leather. You know, if I was doing it for myself and I only had 10 to do, I would move all the light colored grays together. I'm going to tell you what, this video has been too long. I'm going to make a part 2 on how I would do it. Just to give them an idea. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.